When it comes to royal life, most of us imagine glittering banquets, gilded halls, and carefully scripted traditions. But behind the closed doors, there are moments of surprising warmth, laughter, and even deep friendship. King Charles has recently pulled back the curtain on a far more personal side of his world. The guests he has loved the most within the palace walls, from world leaders who left a lasting impression to unlikely companions who brought joy and comfort. Here are King Charles IX favorite royal palace guests. Number 9. President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa. Recently, King Charles III reached an important milestone in his reign when he officially welcomed President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa to the United Kingdom for the first state visit of his rule. State visits are not just polite gatherings. They are carefully organized occasions that strengthen the ties between nations, showcase traditions, and give leaders a chance to discuss the future of their country's relations. For King Charles, this was more than a duty.
Like the Youth League was saying in their theme of the conference,
it was the very first state visit of his reign, making it an event watched with curiosity and excitement across the world. The honor of greeting President Ramaphosa before he met the king fell to Prince William and Kate Middleton, the Prince and Princess of Wales. This was no small role. They represented the royal family at the very start of the visit, setting the tone with warmth, respect, and hospitality. Early that morning, they arrived at the Corinthia Hotel in London, a place often used by dignitaries and high-profile guests, where the South African president was staying. As the couple entered the hotel, cameras captured their smiles and formal greetings.
The Princess of Wales has been a steadfast support for King Charles III throughout his reign so far,
giving the world a glimpse of the royal family's welcoming spirit. Later in the day, the official state ceremonies unfolded with grandeur. King Charles welcomed President Ramaphosa with all the honors that come with a state visit: a formal reception, a carriage procession, and a banquet. But it was the opening moment, when William and Kate greeted the president at the Corinthia Hotel, that set the stage for everything else.
overcome the difficulties of the present and prepare ourselves for the challenges.
It was a gesture that combined royal protocol with genuine warmth. While steeped in centuries of tradition, it also adapts and moves forward with new generations. This visit also carried a deeper meaning. South Africa and the United Kingdom share a long, complex history. A state visit is a chance to honor shared values, strengthen bonds, and acknowledge both challenges and achievements. By welcoming President Ramaphosa, King Charles III was not only marking his own milestone, but also building a bridge toward a future of stronger cooperation. And just when you think this visit was astonishing, the next royal guest will get you thinking. Let's find out who's next. Number 8. Donald and Melania Trump. In September 2025, the United Kingdom played host to an important diplomatic event that drew the attention of both the British public and the wider world. United States President Donald Trump and his wife, the First Lady Melania Trump, arrived in Britain for a highly anticipated state visit. Such visits are not only about official meetings and political agreements, they are also about ceremony, tradition, and the strengthening of relationships between nations. This particular trip included many events of great significance, and one of the highlights was a grand banquet held at Windsor Castle, one of the most historic and iconic residences of the British monarchy. The banquet was a glittering affair, filled with royal traditions and formalities that date back centuries. Windsor Castle, with its long halls, grand chambers, and medieval history, provided the perfect setting for the evening. It was a moment when two powerful nations came together. Not only through their political representatives, but also through the deep symbolism of royal hospitality. For the Trumps, being honored guests at Windsor Castle was a sign of the respect and recognition extended by King Charles III and the royal family. One of the most notable aspects of the evening was the friendly and lighthearted atmosphere created by King Charles himself. Though he has always been known for his careful diplomacy and reserved nature, King Charles also possesses a warm sense of humor that often puts people at ease. During the banquet, he shared several jokes with Donald Trump, moments that were witnessed by those in attendance and later reported by the press. These exchanges, while light in tone, carried deep meaning.
Our countries have the closest defense, security and intelligence relationship ever known.
They suggested that the king and the American leader had managed to establish a cordial relationship, one built on mutual respect despite the differences in background, culture, and leadership style. The visit was not limited to a single night of royal splendor. It was the first full day of the state visit, and the royal family extended their warm welcome to the American guests. State visits typically involve a careful schedule of events that mix tradition, ceremony, and diplomacy. For the Trumps, the warm greeting from the royal family showed that Britain valued its connection with the United States.
King gave Trump the rare honor of walking ahead as they reviewed the honor guard.
The sight of Donald and Melania Trump alongside King Charles, Queen Camilla, and other members of the royal family symbolized unity between two nations that have long shared history, culture, and political partnership. Such occasions are not merely for show. They play a role in international relations. When a head of state and their spouse are received with such grandeur, it signals to the world that the bond between the two countries is strong and enduring. And speaking of Trump visit, David Attenborough's arrival to the Windsors was even more epic. Let's take a look. Number 7. David Attenborough. Sir David Attenborough, one of the world's most respected naturalists and broadcasters, has had a warm and lasting friendship with King Charles for many decades. Both men share a deep concern for the natural world, and their passion for protecting the planet has created a strong bond between them. Their relationship goes far beyond casual meetings. It is built on shared values, common goals, and a mutual understanding that the environment needs urgent care and attention. From a young age, King Charles showed an interest in the natural environment, long before global warming and climate change became central topics in world politics. Similarly, Sir David Attenborough dedicated his entire career to educating people.
Not very often, actually. I suppose the time when I really thought maybe this was
about the beauty and fragility of nature through his groundbreaking documentaries. When these two influential figures found common ground, it was almost inevitable that they would work together and support each other's missions. Over the years, Sir David and King Charles have often been seen side by side at events focused on sustainability, conservation, and environmental awareness. Whether at conferences, television interviews, or public campaigns, their presence together carries great symbolic power. People admire their determination to use their influence for a cause that affects every living being on Earth. By working as a team, they have been able to inspire millions of people around the world to care more about the environment. One of the remarkable aspects of their friendship is the way it blends science and leadership. Sir David Attenborough provides the scientific knowledge, the visuals of nature, and the emotional storytelling that make people pay attention. On the other hand, King Charles uses his royal platform.
My daughter says, are you kidding her?
Well, I tried.
Not easy.
No.
His influence and his voice to bring environmental issues to the attention of governments, businesses, and global leaders. Together, they form a partnership that combines wisdom with authority, facts with influence, and passion with action. Their collaborations have covered many areas, including efforts to reduce plastic waste, promote renewable energy, and protect endangered species. For example, King Charles has been outspoken about the dangers of pollution and the destruction of rainforests, while Sir David has shown audiences, through film and television, what happens when humans fail to protect ecosystems. These combined efforts make their message stronger, showing that environmental protection is not just for scientists or activists, but for everyone, including world leaders. In recent years, their joint appearances have gained
unexamined. But now they're being brought out for another look at them.
Even more importance. With the growing threats of climate change, melting ice caps, and loss of biodiversity, their voices are needed more than ever. Both men, now in their later years, continue to use their time and influence to fight for the future of the planet. The friendship between Sir David Attenborough and King Charles is not only a personal connection but also a symbol of what can be achieved when respected figures unite for a greater cause. Haven received one of the world's most respected naturalists and broadcasters. King Charles welcomed a Hollywood special guest. Who could it be? Let's find out. Number 6. George and Amal Clooney. King Charles brought some Hollywood sparkle to his latest palace event. On June 25, 2025, George Clooney and Amal Clooney were among the special guests at Buckingham Palace for a celebration honoring the winners of the King's Trust Awards 2025. These awards recognize young people who have faced challenges, improved their lives, and made a positive difference in their communities. The 76-year-old king was seen sharing a warm laugh with George and Amal during the reception. The couple also posed for a group photo with Charles.
So it took me by surprise.
She screwed my life up, man. Life was easy for me.
The award winners and other supporters. George, who was 64, looked sharp in a gray suit without a tie, while Amal, 47, wore a classy black dress with an off-the-shoulder design. This was not the first time the Clooneys had joined Charles at the palace. Back in March 2019, they attended a dinner at Buckingham Palace to celebrate the same charity, which was then called the Prince's Trust, before Charles became king. At that event, the three were also spotted chatting and smiling, with Charles and George both in black bow ties, while Amal stood out in a stunning white gown. The Clooneys, who have a home in the UK, were also guests at Windsor Castle in May 2018 for the royal wedding of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. At the reception, George even surprised guests by jumping behind the bar to mix drinks.
We are also trying to focus. Maybe you'll understand this.
A source told People magazine that Meghan and Amal had already been friends, and Amal was helping Meghan adjust to her new life in London. Their bond was described as an easy and natural friendship from the very start. In the summer, after Harry and Meghan's wedding, the couple reportedly visited the Clooneys at their villa in Lake Como. According to ABC News, Harry and George played basketball, while Meghan relaxed by the pool with Amal and spent time with the Clooneys' twins, Ella and Alexander. The Clooneys also hosted a dinner party in their honor. The recent reception hosted by King Charles came just before the official King's Trust Awards ceremony, scheduled for Thursday, June 26th at the Royal Festival Hall. During the palace gathering, the King met with winners across 8 UK categories: the Enterprise Award, Education Award, Breakthrough Award, Young Changemaker Award, Young Achiever Award, Community Impact Award, Rising Star Award, and Volunteer of the Year Award. He also met the winners of 3 international categories: the Global Young Achiever Award, the Amal Clooney Women's Empowerment Award, and the Global Sustainability Award. The event also highlighted the 10th anniversary of King's Trust International, which supports young people outside the UK. King Charles marked the milestone by cutting a cake to celebrate their achievements. But as we move away from the Hollywood now, an even surprising visit from Africa stirred up. Let's check it out. Number 5. President Bola Tinubu. President Bola Tinubu recently met with King Charles III at Buckingham Palace in London, United Kingdom. The announcement of this important meeting was made by Bayo Onanuga, who serves as the special advisor to the president on information and strategy. According to him, the discussion between the two leaders was private but very significant, as it reflected the long-standing and valued relationship between Nigeria and the United Kingdom. Onanuga explained that the meeting touched on key issues that both countries, as well as the world at large, consider a priority. One of the central topics was climate change, which has become one of the most pressing and complicated challenges.
As a black nation, has produced 2 Nobel laureates
of the modern era. Both President Tinubu and King Charles exchanged views on how this global problem could be tackled more effectively. A major focus of their conversation was on how Nigeria and the United Kingdom could work together ahead of 2 upcoming international events. The first is the COP29 summit, scheduled to take place later this year in Azerbaijan, and the second is the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, CHOGM, which will be hosted in Samoa. These gatherings will bring together world leaders to discuss climate change, sustainable development, and cooperation among member states.
There's no sound of apertures.
Technology has moved on this.
Yes.
Thank you.
During the talks, President Tinubu restated Nigeria's strong commitment to fighting climate change, but he also made it clear that this commitment would not overlook Nigeria's own energy security needs. He emphasized that while Nigeria is ready to adopt international strategies for sustainability, the country must also make sure its citizens have access to reliable energy for growth and development. Both leaders also looked into new and creative ways to fund climate action. They discussed the possibilities of innovative climate financing, which could help developing nations like Nigeria meet their climate goals.
And ammunition and technology equipment that could help.
Without sacrificing progress in other areas, especially those built around Nigeria's role as a leader in Africa and its active participation in the Commonwealth would be crucial in achieving these objectives. This meeting was particularly notable because it marked the first time President Tinubu and King Charles had met since their last encounter at the COP28 Climate Summit in Dubai in 2023. Now, moving away from Africa, King Charles's next guest comes from the Asia region. Let's find out who it is. Number 4. President Yoon Suk Yeol and Kim Keon-hee. King Charles III welcomed South Korean President Yoon Suk Yeol and his wife Kim Keon-hee to a grand state banquet at Buckingham Palace on Tuesday. The UK held this event as part of a formal state visit.
오신 것을 환영합니다.
Meant to strengthen trade and defense ties between Britain and South Korea. The British government hopes that Yoon's 3-day visit will support its foreign and trade policy known as the Indo-Pacific Tilt, which focuses more attention on Asia and the Pacific region. King Charles and Queen Camilla hosted the South Korean President and First Lady in a glamorous evening event. Charles praised South Korea's political and economic progress, while also celebrating its culture. He even mentioned the global K-pop group Blackpink, who were among the more than 170 guests at the Palace Ballroom. I want to applaud Jennie, Jisoo, Lisa, and Rose, also known as Blackpink, for using their global fame to spread the message of environmentalism, sustainability, Charles said in his speech. He added jokingly that when he visited Seoul years ago, he never quite managed to master Gangnam Style, referring to the viral hit by Korean rapper Psy. For the occasion, Queen Camilla wore Queen Elizabeth II's ruby and diamond Burmese tiara along with a red gown. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, chose a white gown and the Strathmore Rose tiara, a headpiece once owned by Elizabeth's mother, the Queen Mother. Earlier that day, Charles and Camilla formally welcomed Yoon and his wife at Horse Guards Parade in central London. Prince William, along with government officials, joined the ceremony. The King and President reviewed troops from the Scots Guards, who stood in their traditional grey tunics and bearskin hats. The South Korean couple then traveled in a horse-drawn carriage down a street decorated with both British and Korean flags, arriving at Buckingham Palace. Sunak and Yoon are also expected to sign a broader deal covering cooperation in defense and advanced technology, including artificial intelligence. Britain recently hosted the world's first international AI Safety Summit, and South Korea plans to hold the next one next year. And now, another equally surprising guest is coming from the same place. Who do we have next? Let's take a look. Number 3. Emperor Naruhito and Empress Masako. King Charles welcomed his guests in Japanese as Emperor Naruhito and Empress Masako of Japan attended a grand state banquet at Buckingham Palace. He raised a toast to them with words that translated to "Welcome back to Britain." The dinner was a rich affair with dishes such as poached langoustines, basil mousse, Cornish turbot, quail eggs, sorbet, and peaches. In his reply, Emperor Naruhito fondly recalled his younger years studying at Oxford University. The banquet took place in the palace's grand ballroom, decorated with chandeliers, flowers, and elegant table settings. It was the highlight of the state visit, blending diplomacy with tradition. With the general election campaign underway, the seating plan drew attention. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak was not at the main table, which seated senior royals like the King, Queen, Prince William, and the Japanese royal couple. Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer sat next to the King's private secretary, Sir Clive Alderton. Since Sunak and Starmer had a TV debate scheduled for the next evening, both likely had to skip the wines on offer, which included Coates and Sealy Brut Reserve, Chateau Angloudet, and Laurent Perrier Rosé. Music played quietly in the background, with songs such as I Don't Know How to Love Him, Skyfall, and They Can't Take That Away From Me. In his speech, King Charles spoke warmly about the strong friendship between the United Kingdom and Japan, highlighting shared ties in science, culture, defense, and trade. He also mentioned Japan's influence on global culture, referencing Hello Kitty and even the Pokémon slogan, "Gotta catch 'em all." Emperor Naruhito responded by stressing the importance of true mutual understanding between the two nations.
Has helped to deliver prosperity for Canadians for decades, is changing.
He hinted at past wartime hardships, saying it was vital to build friendships even after times of great struggle. This was the first day of the Emperor and Empress's state visit, which began with a ceremonial welcome at Horse Guards Parade. Under bright sunshine, the King and Queen greeted them before they traveled in the traditional carriage procession along the Mall to Buckingham Palace. Empress Masako wore a face mask due to her allergy to horsehair. The Japanese royals brought meaningful gifts: a black lacquerware box for the King, a brocade handbag for the Queen, and a framed photo of themselves. The lacquerware symbolized the Noto Peninsula earthquake earlier this year, as Wajima City, known for producing it, was badly affected. In return, King Charles gave the Emperor and Empress a pair of silver and gold beakers, along with a bottle of Glengarioch whiskey from a Japanese-owned distillery in Aberdeenshire. The Queen gave Empress Masako a handmade fan decorated with symbols of good luck. King Charles didn't leave out the Arab world from the list of his guests. So, who did he welcome to the palace from the Arabs? Let's find out. Number 2. Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani and Sheikha Jawaher. King Charles III officially welcomed the Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, and his first wife, Sheikha Jawaher, at a grand ceremony held in Whitehall, London. The event was filled with tradition and symbolism, reflecting the importance of the Qatari ruler's state visit to the United Kingdom. The ceremony was not limited to King Charles alone. Prince William and Princess Catherine, the Prince and Princess of Wales, also joined in welcoming the royal guests. Their presence highlighted the significance of this diplomatic occasion, as the Emir and Sheikha Jawaher began what was seen as an important and carefully planned state visit. The visit aimed to deepen ties between Qatar and Britain, particularly in trade and economic cooperation. Sheikh Tamim and Sheikha Jawaher's trip officially began when their plane landed at Stansted Airport. Upon arrival, they were received at Kensington Palace by Prince William and Catherine, who hosted them for the first stage of their stay in the United Kingdom. Queen Camilla, who was 77 years old, could not attend the initial welcome due to a lingering chest infection. However, it was confirmed that she would join later activities, including the formal dinner planned at Buckingham Palace. Tuesday's schedule was especially busy for the Qatari royal couple. After the grand welcome in Whitehall, they were set to attend two major events. One of these was a special exhibition at Buckingham Palace. This exhibition was organized to highlight Qatar's cultural contributions as well as the growing partnerships between Qatar and the United Kingdom. The highlight of the day was reserved for the evening, when King Charles and Queen Camilla would host a state banquet in honor of the Emir and Sheikha Jawaher. State banquets are among the most prestigious events in royal diplomacy, bringing together political leaders, business representatives, and members of both royal families. The dinner symbolized respect and recognition of Qatar's importance as a partner to the United Kingdom. The Qatari state visit also carried major political and economic goals. Talks during the visit were expected to focus on strengthening ties between the United Kingdom and the six-member Gulf Cooperation Council, GCC. One of the main objectives was to move forward with discussions about a possible free trade agreement. Such a deal could open up new opportunities for both sides and boost economic growth.
Sports is not just competition, but a bridge between cultures.
The visit would continue into Wednesday. The emir was scheduled to visit the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst, a place of special connection since many Gulf leaders and royals have trained there in the past. After that, he would hold a bilateral meeting at Downing Street with Prime Minister Keir Starmer. This meeting was seen as a key moment to discuss trade, investment, and other areas of cooperation. The day would close with a formal dinner hosted by the Lord Mayor of London and the City of London Corporation. As chilling as this visit could be, our next guest is even more breathtaking. Let's find out who. Number 1. President Emmanuel Macron and First Lady Brigitte Macron. President Emmanuel Macron of France and his wife, Mrs. Brigitte Macron, arrived in the United Kingdom to begin their state visit with a grand and colorful welcome. Their arrival marked the start of an important occasion, full of ceremony and tradition, showing the strong ties between Britain and France. The French president and his wife were first welcomed by the Prince and Princess of Wales, William and Catherine. They represented King Charles III during this early stage of the visit, before the official ceremonies began. This warm greeting set the tone for the events that followed in Windsor. In Windsor Town Centre, King Charles and Queen Camilla officially received their French guests. From there, the royal hosts and their visitors boarded horse-drawn carriages.
A bernstone for your grandfather?
The procession moved slowly through the cheering crowds gathered along the streets. Many people waved flags and welcomed the president and his wife with excitement. The carriages made their way up the famous Long Walk, the tree-lined road that leads directly to Windsor Castle, one of the most historic royal residences in Britain. The official arrival ceremony was held inside the quadrangle of Windsor Castle, a grand courtyard used for special occasions. There, the national anthems of both countries were played with full military honor. President Macron was then invited to inspect a Guard of Honor. The Guard was formed by soldiers from the Nijmegen Company Grenadier Guards and F Company Scots Guards. This part of the ceremony highlighted the close link between the British monarch and the armed forces, while also offering a powerful and respectful welcome to the visiting head of state. After the formal ceremony, the royal hosts and their guests enjoyed a private lunch inside the castle. Following the meal, they were shown a special exhibition of French-related treasures from the royal collection. Among the items was an especially interesting piece, an English glass thought to be the oldest surviving champagne glass. This glass was originally given in 1935 as a gift to King George V and Queen Mary. It was presented by champagne makers from the French towns of Reims and Epernay, as well as by other skilled French artisans. The display reflected the cultural and historical ties that have long connected Britain and France. The day ended with a glittering state banquet in St. George's Hall at Windsor Castle. King Charles, joined by Queen Camilla and other senior members of the royal family, hosted the dinner in honor of President Macron and his wife. During the banquet, the king gave a heartfelt speech, warmly welcoming the French leader. In his words, he celebrated the deep and lasting friendship between the people of Britain and France, a relationship that stretches back more than 1,000 years of history, culture, and shared experiences. This day of pageantry, tradition, and hospitality perfectly reflected the importance of the bond between the two nations. Which of these royal guests loved by King Charles did you find the most interesting? Let us know your answer in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe.